I live in LA in the suburbs. It's a nice neighbourhood, mostly Iranian and Jewish, fairly wealthy. But even here, it's not unusual to hear the ghetto bird late at night. Only this night, the airship was right over our house, and the spotlight kept shining back and forth. I had my wife and my toddler son asleep in the room with me. Neither of them woke up. I thought it might be best to pull the shotgun out of the safe and get her loaded just to be sure. I grabbed my Remington pump and loaded it with the double-aught buck and a slug. Then I went out to the living room, locking the bedroom door behind me. We have a house lock on the bedroom door. I turned out all the interior lights, and I turned on all the exterior lights in the yard. Then I just stood there, shirtless, wearing nothing but pyjama bottoms, holding a shotgun. Every so often, I'd walk up to the windows on either side of the house. The helicopter just kept circling, and the spotlight kept darting back and forth. Eventually, I sat down in a chair. Within a minute, I started to doze off, and then I saw a figure run past my sliding glass door from my backyard towards my side yard. I immediately ran through the kitchen, and that's when I realised the side door to my garage was open. I unlocked the door to my garage and went inside, trying to get to the door leading into the side yard. I wanted to lock it, but he was already there. His hand was on the knob. He was turning it and pushing it. The knob is tricky even when it's unlocked. The door itself is swollen from rain exposure, and the old framing makes it difficult to open. I racked the shotgun, pointed it at the window in the door, and yelled, "Stop!" I reached forward for the tactical flashlight mounted on the shotgun. Of course, the batteries were dead. Duh. Maintain your weapons, folks. I recoiled back towards the water heater, and in that moment, I figured, if he came through that door, I'd have to shoot him. There'd be no choice, because if I didn't, and he overpowered me, the door behind me was unlocked, and he would have had access to the house, and access to a shotgun. We all think we're going to be heroic in a moment like that. Steadfast, resilient, ready to do whatever it takes. And I probably would have stood my ground, because I had my wife and my son to protect. But the last thing I wanted right then was to pull the trigger, to hear the blast, and know that a man had died violently inside my house. What would my life be like after that? How would it change? Would I have to get lawyers? Would I lose my house? Would I have to worry about my retribution? Would I have to look over my shoulder? I sometimes lay awake at night thinking about a blunder I'd said in a conversation, or a mistake I made while driving. Would I relive that moment I killed a guy? Over and over and over again, whilst I was trying to sleep. The problem solves itself. The guy stood there. His hand was still on the door, but he was looking behind him. And then I heard it. The cops rushing up to the side gate, flashlights, lots of yelling. 10 different commands being screamed at the same time. They reached over, got the gate unlocked, and the guy was on the ground. I put my shotgun down on the other side of the door. A female officer shined her light through the side door window, then yelled, "Sir, get inside." I went back into the kitchen, locked the door behind me, and then I cracked a beer and took a long pull from a bottle of tequila. The cops arrested the guy, the helicopter called off, and about an hour or so they were all gone. The neighbourhood was quiet again, except for a few neighbours outside. I went outside, locked the gate, and went back to bed. My mouth was dry, my heart was still racing. Eventually, my wife woke up. She asked me why I hadn't been sleeping. I told her, "I'm fine, just insomnia." I didn't want to tell her. Not at 3 in the morning. She would have freaked out. And at that moment, that was the last thing I wanted. The next day, I called to see if I could get any details. The watch commander told me the guy was a 16-year-old kid from the neighbourhood. Later, I found out he ran around with my neighbour's kids. He had no previous record. His parents were wealthy, but he had been caught breaking into his friend's house. He took the cops on a chase, ditched his car a block away, and ran like hell. My yard was probably the darkest and most shaded, so he hid there. I never mentioned the shotgun, or how close I came to killing him. The less they knew, the better, as far as I was concerned. That kid would be a man in his early 30s now. I've never seen him, but the kids he ran with all have kids of their own now. They drive minivans, they have careers, and they walk to synagogue on Shabbat. I'm hoping he's doing better. He may or may not know that he was one door's threshold away from a violent and painful death. I want him to know, but I don't want him to know, you know?
Like what you heard? Hit subscribe and like the video for more stories every Thursday and Sunday between 1800 and 2000 BST. And remember, curiosity opens doors better left closed.